In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 NFL games happening on September 24, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Los Angeles Chargers versus Minnesota Vikings. The Los Angeles Chargers take on the Minnesota Vikings in an inter-conference bout on Sunday afternoon. The Chargers lost an overtime decision against the Titans in their previous bout. The Vikings came up short in a road loss to the Eagles to dip to 0-2. These squads met in 2021 in a game the Vikings won 27-20. The Chargers' visit to the Vikings is likely to be one of the most entertaining battles you'll ever see between a pair of 0-2 teams. Must-win game for 2 desperate teams, as it's nearly impossible to make the playoffs once starting a season 0-3. It's kind of expected from the Los Angeles Chargers, as they've been finding ways to lose close games for the last 2 decades, and Herbert puts up sexy numbers but doesn't win. The Minnesota Vikings have lost their 2 games by a combined 9 points and could easily be unbeaten. The Vikings probably beat the Eagles on the road if Jefferson doesn't fumble in the back of the end zone. The Vikings are at home, and the rushing offense should improve with the addition of Cam Akers. However, the fact that they are both winless despite the amount of offensive talent that will be on the field at US Bank Stadium on Sunday gives a clue that neither of these teams is easy for bettors to trust. The Chargers are pretty much the world champions and finding ways to lose NFL games that they had in their grasp, while the Vikings are on the rebound from a season in which they won all 9 of their games, which were decided by a single score. They have kicked off 2023 with losses by 3 points at home to the Bucs and by 6 on the road to the Eagles in Week 2. Los Angeles, however, has gone even closer to a win, leading Miami inside the final 2 minutes of Week 1 before losing 36-34 and taking Tennessee to overtime last week. That 27-24 win by the Titans was their first victory for 9 games, and taking on the Chargers could also be what Minnesota needs to break out of its 0-2 start. There has been a pattern to both of the Vikings games, with the Kirk Cousins to Justin Jefferson connection working sweetly, while new starting running back Alexander Mattison has made a surprisingly slow start. Cousins was only 7 yards off the NFL passing lead after Week 2, having posted 708 yards in 2 games, while Jefferson is clear of the field after 309 receiving yards. Chargers starting running back Austin Eckler missed practice on Wednesday and Thursday due to an ankle injury and could miss his 2nd straight game, which may leave Joshua Kelly to carry the load. The Vikings, meanwhile, have bolstered their running back room by trading for Cam Akers from the Rams, and his arrival could be the inspiration Alexander Mattison needs to start posting the numbers that were expected when Dalvin Cook was let go. This is definitely a coin flip type of a game, as it'll feature 2 high-powered offenses accompanied by suspect defensive play. Minnesota has the obvious home field advantage here, but they're also basically coming off a bye week, having played the Thursday nighter the week before. The Chargers were in a slog against the Titans in a game that required extra time to decide a winner. Cousins has demonstrated solid rapport with his wide receiver room, and Mattison could find his legs as the Chargers were ran on by Tennessee. The Chargers are having trouble defending the pass after 2 clashes. They rank last in the entire NFL in passing yards allowed. This is key, as the Vikings have opted for the pass in 78% of their plays. Cousins has registered at least 344 passing yards in his 2 performances against the Bucs and Eagles, and that success should continue. This game will be a challenge for Herbert. The Vikings' pass defense has been a strength, allowing an average of 170 passing yards in 2 games, marking them 8th. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Minnesota Vikings are each seeking their first win. The Vikings could easily be 2-0, but the fumbles cost them in the defeats to the Bucs and Eagles. This is a proven squad that won 13 games last season. When it comes down to it, it's hard to trust Staley in a spot with the game on the line to make the positive outcome choice. It's not often you'll hear this, but the Vikings are the easier team to trust in this matchup, and I'm taking them at home to beat the Chargers and get their first win of the season. So the Minnesota Vikings to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. With totals this high, it's hard to chase the steam, but this number is over 52 for good reason. Neither of these defenses have exhibited any sort of confidence that they'll make stops in the red zone or consistently get off the field on third down. The Vikings were exposed on the ground by the Eagles, and Tannehill routinely connected on the deep ball against the Chargers. It shapes up to be a game with two gunslinger quarterbacks with high-caliber weapons that love to air it out against defenses that haven't found their footing. Both teams have been efficient inside the 20 offensively and are tied for 6th in touchdowns per game. The Chargers scored 34 against a strong Dolphins defense in the opener, and Herbert was able to collect 305 passing yards last week. The Chargers have one of the best passing units in the game. They ranked 3rd last year and 10th after 2 decisions. With Eckler possibly out, look for a ton of passes from Herbert after attempting 41 last week. In addition, the Vikings offense posted 370 yards in the opener against the Bucs, but the mistakes held them to 17 points. Next, they generated 28 points against a strong Eagles defense. This is a potent offense that ranked 8th in the NFL in points last year. The over is 8-2 in the Vikings' last 10 games. The total is high, but for good reason. I expect a shootout. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. New Orleans Saints versus Green Bay Packers. A pair of National Football Conference teams lock up on the gridiron in a Week 3 tilt coming to you from the not-so-frozen tundra, at least not in late September, of Lambeau Field. The New Orleans Saints are on the road as they make the trip north to take on the Green Bay Packers Sunday afternoon. New Orleans comes in off a 20-17 road win over the Panthers in a National Football Conference South tilt on Monday night. They pushed the line as a 3-point favorite in the contest. Green Bay was upended 25-24 on the road by Atlanta in their previous game last Sunday, though they did cover the line as a 3-point underdog. In the all-time regular season series between the teams, the Packers own a 17-10 advantage, though it was the Saints rolling to a 38-3 triumph at home in the most recent meeting on September 12, 2021. The offseason headlines focused on the Saints' acquisition of Derek Carr, and rightfully so, as the team needed a quarterback, but the defense has carried the way early on. The defense did not surrender a touchdown in their first 7 quarters of action, until finally giving one up to Carolina's Adam Thielen with a minute left in the game. The Saints' defense only allowed 153 passing yards from Bryce Young, and will look to do the same against another young quarterback in Jordan Love. Derek Carr is finding ways to win games while still figuring out this new offense. He is connecting on 63.8% of his passes so far for 266.5 yards per game, but has only thrown 1 touchdown pass against 2 interceptions. The Saints had to scramble to produce a running game after Jamal Williams left the game with a hamstring injury. Taysom Hill took some snaps and led the team with 75 yards rushing, while former practice squad player Tony Jones Jr. had 34 yards and 2 touchdowns in spot play. The Saints have 3 excellent receivers, led by Chris Olave, who has 198 yards on 14 catches through 2 games. Rashid Shaheed and Michael Thomas provide a mix of speed and size to complement Olave outside. Linebacker Demario Davis leads the team with tackles with 17. The defense has generated 7 sacks through 2 games, with defensive end Carl Granderson leading the way with 2.5. Defensive backs Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus May, and Paulson Adebo all have 1 interception thus far. The Packers were on their way to a 2-0 start when they entered the 4th quarter, leading the Falcons 24-12. The Falcons then scored 13 unanswered points to win the game by 1. Atlanta's rookie running back Bijan Robinson looked like a future star with 124 rushing yards and 48 receiving yards to cut up the Packers' defense. The Packers could have secured the win by scoring in the 4th. Jordan Love has performed well in his first 2 games as the face of the franchise. He has a 6-0 touchdown interception ratio, but could improve on his 55.8% completion percentage. Green Bay is only averaging 88 yards rushing so far. A.J. Dillon has 74 yards on the season, and Aaron Jones has just 41 yards as he is returning from injury. Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed have been the top receiving targets for Love so far. The Packers' projected top receiver, Christian Watson, has not played yet this season with a hamstring injury and is questionable to Sunday. The Packers are allowing 22.5 points and 378.5 yards per game this season. Linebackers Key Walker and Devondre Campbell are leading the team with 21 tackles each. Defensive tackle Devon Wyatt leads the team in sacks with 1.5, and Key Walker and cornerback Russell Douglas each have an interception. Green Bay has been playing well on the road this season and will win their home opener here against a team struggling with injuries and suspensions. The Packers will be able to sit back on defense and focus on the air attack. because the Saints are running out of players to run the ball. Kamara is still out, Jamal Williams has a hamstring injury, and the Packers are not going to fall for the Taysom Hill quarterback sneaks. Hill has only thrown one pass so far. The defense knows he plans on running, so they can send extra linebackers to shut him down. Jordan Love has been playing mistake-free football so far. He has no interceptions and has made the best of his young receiving core while Watson returns from injury. Aaron Jones is still banged up for the Packers, but A.J. Dillon is a capable NFL running back who will far outperform any practice squad players the Saints try to hand the ball to. The New Orleans Saints are off to a decent start, but the offense still has issues finishing drives, and wins over the Titans and Panthers don't move the needle a ton. We're going to learn a lot about the Saints in this contest. The Green Bay Packers are at home for the first time, and you know Lambeau will be jumping with this strong start to the season. The Packers are second in scoring offense, and I'm going to assume the run defense will improve over time. The Packers were in a winning position late in last weekend's game, but gave all that away in a rough fourth quarter. Green Bay posted just 224 total yards with 17 first downs and 7 penalties, but they took good care of the ball and should have won. Atlanta kept the Packers offense off the field with 36-15 in time of possession, and very little went right for Green Bay during that final quarter. Still, I like the Packers to rebound and perform well at home in Week 3, so the Green Bay Packers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Saints lost a member of their secondary as Marcus May was recently suspended 3 games for a substance violation. Jordan Love has been running Coach LaFleur's offense well and limiting errors. He has not thrown an interception all season. The Pack may also return Aaron Jones and Christian Watson this week. If they can play, they will add to an offense that was already scoring well. New Orleans will have to lean on the passing game this week due to their thin backfield. Carr has options with Ale, Shaheed, and Thomas on the perimeter, which should allow the Saints to move quickly on their scoring drives. This number is too low. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.